Let's talk about DNF Duel. DNF Duel is a new fighting game that was developed by A-Ting with assistance from Arc System Works. It is a 2v2 1v1 fighting game that's... well, it's not a traditional fighter, but it's not exactly like most anime fighting games are... Wait, no, never mind. Actually, it is an anime fighter. There's been a large amount of hype around DNF Duel over the past few months, with the beta helping players get a taste of the game early. I've even already made a video back when the beta was around, and I told you all what I was worried about and what I think they should have improved at that time. That was a few months ago, though, and now that I have the game and have tried it for a full week, I feel it's appropriate that I go back to my concerns and see if I had the right to be worried, if they've been addressed, or if I was just chatting bullshit. So... let's start with the bits that I like the most from the beta and see how it's changed. Let's talk about the gameplay. If you watched my previous video on DNF Duel, then you're about to hear a lot of things being repeated because not much has changed since now and the last beta. DNF Duel is a 4-button fighting game that uses a mix of simple and motion inputs. A and B are your standard light and medium attacks. Specials are your more powerful attacks. Each direction correlates to a different attack. Down special is normally your anti-air, but the rest depend on what your character is. Mana special is your more powerful special move that costs mana to use. These also have directional input variants, however you can also use quarter circles and dragon punches to input the moves. If you use a motion input, the amount of time that your mana takes to start regenerating is decreased, meaning that you can get more of your mana back faster. There's also some combo routes that let you get an extra move in or keep you out of exhaustion if you use the motion input version, so it's good to learn them when you can. If your character's main combo ender is for a mana special, I recommend using the motion input because you'll get your mana back faster. While every character's special move is unique, so the directions don't correlate to every character, down mana special is some form of reversal. The majority of the characters have invincible reversals, however some of them have counters there instead. Most characters' reversals are very powerful DPs, which you'll need to look out for. Apart from Lance's, you can kind of just crouch under his. If you run out of mana, you enter an exhausted state, where you have to wait for your mana to start regenerating and can't use any mana special moves. So you have to keep an eye on your mana gauge because you don't want to hit that exhaustion state. If you get low on mana, you can use a conversion. By pressing B and special at the same time, you sacrifice all of your white life, health that can be healed back over time, in order to basically perform a Roman cancel and get some mana back. It's still very early days, so I haven't quite figured out how to use this mechanic, but it does look pretty damn cool. When you drop below 20% health, you enter an awakened state where you gain access to a passive buff and your super. Supers don't have any invincibility, so you'll mostly be using them as combo enders for big damage. Whenever you use your super, you lose access to the passive buff, so some characters want to keep that instead of cashing it out. When you lose health, the maximum amount of mana you are able to have at any one time also increases, meaning that you can use more special moves and do crazier combos when you're on lower HP. You also have a guard gauge that decreases as you block and can be broken to open you up for free. To prevent this, you can spend 100 mana to guard break and get out of the situation. Now, before I get onto the characters and gush about them endlessly, I need to address something from the previous video. Last time I talked about this game, I criticized the defensive options, saying that when you're on block, you have very few options to get out of a situation, and your only option was to cash out 100 meter for a guard break because people were finding infinite guard break strings. I'm not sure if the developers changed a lot under the hood, or I was just on Twitter too much, but after spending a decent amount of time with the game, I've found that characters rarely actually ever get you into a guard break situation, unless the match is basically over. I also failed to realize that DPs in this game are kind of insane, and any small gap in your string can be DP'd out of because it is literally a one-button DP. Like, I don't really know how I failed to see this. You can also just avoid these situations by using a roll and a backdash to force the opponent to whiff. But, as the aggressor, if you think they're going to try something like this, you can use moves with a lot of active frames and bait them into getting attacked, which leads to a lot of involved mental game moments where you're constantly trying to guess what the opponent will be doing in neutral, and it's honestly really fun. Maybe it's just the fact that I've been improving at fighting games after playing them for hundreds of hours, but I felt like DNF was really easy to pick up and understand what was going on. In the first few hours, I went from feeling like I had no idea what I was doing to formulating strategies with characters and figuring out matchups only seeing them a few times, and it was honestly kind of great. Speaking of strategies, we gotta talk about the character. Now, I haven't exactly spent as much time with the game as I would like to due to being away on launch day. However, all the characters feel amazing to use and are really fun to play and to play against. Cough, cough, except for the zoners. Cough, cough. Every character feels like an extremely powerful version of the archetype that you've gotten to know from different fighting games. Striker, she's the fastest gorilla in the jungle with reverse B and special to special cancelling. Ranger, think Happy Chaos, but he doesn't have to steady aim to keep you at full screen and has devastating combo games and pickup games. Grappler? Grappler is the most fun a grappler has ever been in a fighting game. Every other grappler is like, I hit command grab and do big damage. Meanwhile, Grappler's out here like, watch this shit. I'm pulling off the sickest combo you've ever seen from an armored special move. Zangief ain't got shit on this motherfucker. This guy is basically Yang from Cross Tag in a 1v1 game. Big body players have finally decided to stop hiding that they're a cult and just embrace it, and the other characters all bring some crazy level of bullshit to the table. Sir, that's a child. What the fuck? The character I've probably fallen in love with the most is Dragon Knight. I fucking love her, dude. What can I say? There's something about short girls with pets that just gets me, bro. It's definitely not the war crime pressure. Don't look at the... Don't. Dragon Knight is what I would refer to as a puppet-light character. She has a puppet, but unlike the unsupervised child over there, it's much simpler to control with less options to do things. Doesn't mean I can't get my Asui combo game going on, though. That being said, though, just because I like her the most, doesn't mean she's the only character I want to play in this game. In fact, this game has the opposite problem that I have in Guilty Gear Strive. In that game, I kind of only wanted to play Geo on launch, and even when the DLC came out, I only really had one character that piqued my interest, even slightly. DNF? Bro, I want to play more than half of the cast, even though some of them are nowhere near the normal archetype that I would play. I have genuinely been playing Grappler and having a good time. Something is wrong with this game. This game is absolutely a high power level fighting game, as every character, despite only having 4 real special moves, feels like they can do their own level of crazy bullshit. Tier list? The fuck is that? Any of these guys could open you up and fuck you up, or keep you so far away that none of that shit matters. I genuinely think that DNF has really good gameplay, and the characters that make the game extremely fun and entertaining, both playing them and fighting them. Except for Ranger and Launcher, but you know there always has to be some bad eggs. But, you know, this might all just be the honeymoon phase. I'll let you know how I feel in a bit. But Gekko, I hear you cry from the abyss of the comment section. What about the shitty lobbies? Whew. Buddy, do I have some good news to you? Alright, editor. You can't cut me off on this bit one, alright? Like, I know you've been doing it for the bit all the other times, but let me say my piece because this is important to me. Okay? Alright, cool. They fixed the fuck! God damn it. Finally. Fucking finally. It happened! A new fighting game has come out where the online works properly on launch, has rollback netcode, and in a move that I can only describe as the devs creeping into my dreams and finally fucking listening to the insane rantings I was having, has skill-based matchmaking that works properly. It's so beautiful, guys. I could cry, and not like tears of joy, like straight up an ugly cry that would make all of us feel uncomfortable. I will admit, the systems in place aren't exactly perfect. I don't have actual recorded footage of this because, so I wasn't expecting this to come up on a menu as soon as I clicked on ranked, and I kind of forgot to screenshot it. Me a moron. But basically, as soon as you click ranked, it asks you to self-evaluate how good you are at fighting games to figure out what your rank should be. Huh? Are you a beginner, intermediate, or good at the game? Fuck you! Basically, if you're new, you can put yourself in bronze ranks. If you're intermediate, you get put at the bottom of silver, and if you're good, you get put at the top of silver. While this system is really stupid for several reasons, it's not technically the worst thing ever. Since the highest rank you can put yourself out is the top of silver, which isn't even halfway through the ranks, it gives self-admitted bad players room to play and learn the game. The system doesn't account for egos and smurfs though, which is really annoying, but since it's only the bottom few ranks, once you get into gold, everything starts to even out and players fall into their ranks more naturally. It should be noted that I played ranked for the first time around a week after the game came out, so I wasn't in the first few days of mad scrambling when all the players weren't ranked properly. That scramble could have easily been avoided with, I don't know, placement matches, but the system, now that it's all sorted itself out, works really well. I've climbed into low gold ranks on stream and I could feel the challenge increasing as I went up the lower ranks, and it made me improve along with my opponents. And honestly, it was a great experience. I loved it. This right here is what I've been asking for in every other fighting game I've ever played, and here it works great. It's not perfect, but it's the best ranked experience I've had in a while. Will it last? That depends on how many people stick around, but considering it's been a week and the game still has, 4,000 players concurrently, I think it's still got a few months of dedicated ranked play left. I'm really excited to grind out a few of these ranks and see how high I can get in the leaderboards. Speaking of grinding this game, much like previous 8 games, the game has other things than ranked to grind for. There's a currency system in the game that allows you to buy things to edit your player profile and lobby your avatar with. Some of these things are locked behind specific in-game requirements, such as getting a certain amount of wins in a row on ranked, reaching a certain rank, or reaching a win milestone with a specific character. Not to mention the base amount of tags to get means that you could be grinding money for ages in order to get all of them. If you want a fun game, by the way, read all of these out in the Halo announcer voice. It's kind of funny. Living legend. Gunman of the deserts. Punk. Lone wolf. A handsome disappointment. Having something else to grind for that isn't just ranked based is honestly pretty fun, and I kinda like it. Good job, 8. It's not the best thing in the world, but you know, it's something. As for the lobbies, they've been improved drastically by letting you set up a room with a code for your friends to search for, and they work just as great as they did in the beta once you actually connect to them. The only user experience problem I've had is that when you're waiting for a ranked match in trading mode, the game freezes when you connect to your opponent, which is a pain in the ass when you're labbing combos, but I'm sure this can be fixed in a patch. Well, hopefully it is. As for the single player modes, yeah, single player is unfortunately kind of lacking like most fighting games, but you know, it's whatever. You have to complete at least one story mode in order to unlock a specific character, but apart from that, unless you're a massive dungeon fighter fan, I would honestly give it a pass. However, there is a decent tutorial that goes through all of the game's unique mechanics, all the character gimmicks, their combo structures, and even has a mode where you can learn basic fighting game techniques with your character in order to teach some new players what they should be doing. While some of these combos are quite frankly insane, it's very cool to see 8 finding new ways to teach players how to pull off things like pressure and whiff punishing. Good job, 8, you love to see it. So, looking back, should I have been worried about this game? I think my worries at the time were valid, but now that we have the game in our hands, no, not at all. The game's really fun and extremely well made. I urge anyone interested in getting the game to please pick it up. It's very fun from a casual point of view, with nice accessibility options for new players and a really good amount of competitive depth, which I'm excited to explore over the next few weeks. Hopefully, you'll see more of this game in the future on the channel because I'm having an absolute blast with it, and I hope you all are too. Leave a comment with your experiences of DNF Duel down below. Thanks for watching, and if anyone knows where I can get a plush of Dragon Knight's Dragon Pet, I would greatly appreciate it. Like, look how cute he is! I love my little boy!